Good evening and welcome to the Berlin Public Schools Board of Education meeting on May 10th, 2021. We're going to start the meeting with a call to order and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start the meeting, I would just like to take a moment of silence for our athletic director's wife who passed away last week, Janice Francolangia. Thank you, everyone. Our thoughts are with him and his children at this time, the rest of the family. All right, we're going to start out with committee reports. So I'm going to throw it down to the students. If you guys have a report for us.
Yep, so first this week is BHS Spirit Week. So today was College Gear Day. And Friday this week is Hallway Day, where each grade shows their hallway theme and what they've done to decorate. Next Tuesday, May 18th, is the BHS Chorus Concert. That's going to be held in Senior Court. Senior Prom is Saturday, May 22nd, and that'll be at Cascade Fine Dining outside in Hamden. We're going to have tents in case it rains, anything like that. And then Junior Prom is going to be the last day of school, June 21st, at Quasi Amusement Park.
This Wednesday, May 26th, is our awards night to honor some of our students. So we'll be running 2 sessions, one at 5:30 and one at 7, and it'll be live streamed. The Upbeat Picnic is this Thursday, May 27th, and it's going to be a drive-in at the Berlin Fairgrounds. There's going to be snacks and everything. We'll have a big screen set up. And the May weekend happened this past weekend, and it was the first weekend back at Camp Woodstock since November 2019. That's it.
Thank you. Sounds like a lot of good stuff is going on at Berlin High School, so thanks for the report.
Not to let Ryan hide from the spotlight, he's not wearing his college sweatshirt or apparel, so let the group know. Where are you going?
I'm going to George Washington University in DC.
Nice. Congratulations. Thank you for sharing that. That's very exciting. All right, we'll move to committee reports. I'll start with Tim.
Sure. The Finance and Operations Committee just met before this meeting to talk about some end-of-year projects. As we've been talking about for the past couple of meetings, we do have some savings coming out of COVID-related non-expenditures, and we are putting money towards a number of different things that have been in need for quite a long time. We've got some classroom storage at Hubbard. We've got a rooftop unit for HVAC at McGee. Lighting changes and modifications in the media center at McGee, retaining wall and repaving at the McGee entrance. If you recall, there used to be some kind of raised areas in the front that were a little bit of danger and a little bit of troublemaking areas for the McGee kids, so simplifying that. And then at Willard, the sidewalk replacement, repaving of the recess areas, as well as the stairs down to the lower parking lot. I know my kids went there years ago, and they were falling apart then, and we've patched them year after year, and they fall and all that. So that money is being allocated for those projects. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later in terms of throwing that over to the Board of Finance for approval. But the projects are all good, and I know the people who are looking forward to doing them starting over the summertime. So good stuff.
Thank you. Carrie, I believe your committee just met?
Yes, the curriculum committee met just prior to this meeting, and in our meeting we discussed exams at Berlin High School and some possibilities for diversifying the format and increasing the flexibility with respect to midterm and final exams as well as other assessments. We also discussed a forthcoming course that is a mandated course. It's legislated. It's coming from by order, through the State Department of Education, but it is a social studies course that will show up, I believe, in 2022 here in Berlin. and that's the sum of it.
Thank you. What's the name of the course?
Okay, I don't know that it has a name, but I'll tell you what it pertains to. It is, this was actually it says right here on this piece of paper that Connecticut is the first state in the nation to require high schools to provide courses on Black and Latino studies. So I'm not sure what the name specifically of the course is. I will look to Erin if she has a specific, but. Yes.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. And Tracy?
We have not met yet. We're going to be doing it in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you.
And CREC met, but there's nothing to report.
Thank you. Perfect. I have not received any correspondence to the board. Have you?
No correspondence this time.
All right, no correspondence. Audience of citizens? I have also not received any audience of citizens. All right. Moving on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 26, 2021.
Second? Do we have a second? Stephen, so the motion by Mark, the second by Stephen Weber. Any discussion? Discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Right, carries 8-0. We're gonna move to new business, a facilities related
Does that include the monthly budget report as well?
Yes, the consent agenda does.
Is that in the motion though?
I don't believe it was in the motion,
That was not in the
but I'll
motion.
make
Should
the,
make a motion.
go ahead, Mark.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly budget report for the period ending April 30th, 2021.
I'll second that.
So motion by Mark, second by Adam. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Okay, now we're gonna move on to new business. Thank you for that, Adam. So the facilities related update, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Cugno, who's going to update the board.
Evening, folks. I only have one quick thing to say because most of the things on the facilities related is coming up later in new business, and those issues will be discussed. The only thing I do want to update you on is we have yet to hear from the Public Building Commission relative to the air quality, how they were going to recommend going forward, or we're waiting for a memorandum from the commissioner, but it hasn't shown up yet, so I have nothing new to report, and I will continue to keep you up to date as soon as I know something. Okay?
Thank you. Now we'll move to summer program. So Linda, would you like to discuss that?
So, we're in the process of hearing recommendations at PPTs. This is our PPT season regarding summer school services, or also known as extended year school services. To date, we have about 161 students recommended. We're also in the process of hiring our staff. We're going to need a lot of staff in order to provide the program. The program is set for our BLAST program will run from June 28th to July 30th. It's a 5-day-a-week, 4-hour-day program, and that's for our students with most intense needs. And then our main summer school program is 4 weeks, and it'll run from July 6th to July 29th, and it's 3 days a week for 3 hours per day. The state, then we have a nice little surprise. The Department of Education and the Bureau of Special Ed made available to districts a one-time stipend. So we had to apply. It's a grant. And if you applied, you're going to receive the grant. So we applied, and we were awarded $20,000 that we have to use during the summer or up until the end of September. And our proposal focused on providing experiences in an authentic environment for students who've missed out on social opportunities. So again, looking at our students with our most intense needs, so our students who are identified with intellectual disabilities or autism or social traumatic difficulties. So when we heard about this, we called the Y and said, because a lot of our students never get to participate in typical camp experiences, so we reached out to the Y and said, can we have our kids join as long as we have staff? Because a lot of these students will need one-to-one staff, and they said absolutely. So there's a small fee to have the kids they'll be able to go to the Y program after summer school, so it'll be for about 2.5 hours. They're charging us a small fee. Again, we'll send our staff with them so they could experience a typical camp program. So we're excited about doing that for our students. We'll probably have about 25 students. And the $20,000 will go quickly. We figured we could probably only do 2 weeks of camp. So that's what we have in store so far.
Do you have anything you'd like to add, Dr. McGrath?
Yes, so in addition to the programs that are targeted towards our students with special needs, we're very pleased this summer that we're going to be able to offer Summer Academy for students in entering grades 1, 2, and 3. We're targeting students who have been identified by their teachers as in need of additional academic support. They'll be coming in for a program of 3 weeks, 4 days a week, 3.5 hours a day, in which they'll get literacy and numeracy support, as well as have an opportunity to do some social movement, creative activity kinds of things. They'll be able to have some whole group instruction as well as some small targeted groups. And we've been very pleased to find teachers that for us to staff that this summer. This is not a summer in which everyone wants to work after the last 14 months. So additionally, we've developed, based on a needs assessment, some additional math offerings for students entering grades 7 to 10. And again, these are targeted students that, for any number of reasons, have struggled during the last academic year and need some additional support. So we're working on some flexible options to provide them additional supports. And both of those programs, the early elementary and the math program, are really designed to help kids enter next year as strong and feel confident that they're ready to go. For the kids that are entering, 8th graders that are entering the high school, we're going to offer the program at the high school, which will have the secondary benefit of having those students be able to be in the high school space, to meet some of the high school teachers and work with them, and to start to build relationships before they get to the high school in the fall. So we think that's particularly important. In the time since we wrote the extended agenda for you, we've added some additional summer opportunities. So we're working to provide some additional opportunities for our students who are English learners to have primarily camp and some social interaction. So many of these students are in families where English is not the home language, and having them have the opportunity to participate in an English-speaking setting, doing summer camp things with kids their age is a good way for them to continue to develop English skills and to foster those relationships. And last but not least, we're looking at some additional summer music program offerings. So we've just entered into agreement with a couple of our teachers to offer a music program that will include ukuleles and some vocal music. So we're excited to take advantage of some of the ESSER funds that have been targeted at extending learning opportunities to provide a range of options for the students this summer.
Both sound excellent, all of it, both of your reports. It's really, I know, I can't wait to see that, yes. That's really an excellent update. I'm very excited for all the students that have the opportunities this summer, because like you said, it has been a rough 14 months. So, you know, this is great. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
It does sound like there's going to be a lot ongoing this summer, and great opportunities to extend to our students. So I don't know if you said, and I missed it, but how many students do you think will be served by these various programs? So for example, the Summer Academy.
The Summer Academy, we have about 90 identified students.
Okay.
So, you know, we're still,
Building
honestly,
that.
families don't all have their summer plans
Right.
all lined up. So the teachers have just started last week to reach out to individual families to contact them to let them know that they were available for that option. I want to say the YMCA has been very flexible with us, and they're very supportive of helping us extend the day for students
Great.
who want to come and do the Summer Academy in the morning and then stay the rest of the day, which will be particularly helpful with our students from the open choice program, because if we have kids in those grade levels that come from Hartford,
Sure.
it's great for us to be able to offer them a full day of experience and not, just a shortened program.
Yeah.
That's a long time on the bus for a short day.
Yes.
And they've also been very flexible with us about adding camp time before and after the program to
Excellent.
offer a rich experience for students.
Excellent. And the summer music program, did you say the grade range?
The ukuleles and vocal music is going to be for entering grades 5 to 9.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Julie, just a
Mhm.
quick question. And with that music program, I know that the Manzi Foundation typically sponsors the band camp. I'm just not sure, is that? Oh, thank you.
Nice. Great question, Adam.
Thank you.
Ryan or Lindsay, do you guys have any questions? Okay. All right, well, thank you for that. That was an excellent update. We'll move to textbook adoptions.
So you have information in the extended agenda about the 2 textbook adoptions. These are 2 textbooks for high school math, Big Ideas Algebra 1 and Big Ideas Algebra 2. These are texts that are replacing outdated editions, and they are both texts that are available freely for our students online, which is a great opportunity for us. And we'll also order a classroom set of hard copies so that we do have some hard copy texts available. These both went to the curriculum committee at our last meeting, and Ross Hansen and Cara Watson. So Ross is the department supervisor at the high school, and Cara Watson is the district director of mathematics, science, and STEAM, presented the textbooks, and they met with the approval of the curriculum committee at the last meeting.
Okay. So we will move to the motion for consideration. Do we have a motion?
I will move to adopt the textbooks Big Ideas Math, a Common Core Curriculum Algebra 1 Teaching Edition, and Big Ideas Math, a Common Core Curriculum Algebra 2 Teaching Edition by Ron Larson and Lori Boswell, and published by Big Ideas Learning, LLC.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
So the motion by Carrie, the second by Stephen Jenkins. Any discussion?
We had an opportunity to review it, as Aaron said, in curriculum committee meeting. The math representatives from the math department and Kara, as you said, provided us with an opportunity to review those books, which themselves were quite hefty,
Yeah.
but appeared very comprehensive, and they provided a great justification for the change of the textbooks.
I just have to say, I love that the online text is free. That is great.
We cannot guarantee that forever, but
But yeah,
Right now.
but hey, take it while you
Right.
can. All right. So if any other discussion? All right, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 8-0. So now we're moving to the Berlin High School building project closeout. So this was on our last agenda. We briefly discussed it. Jeff Cugno gave us a brief update, and we said that the bids had just come in. I will give an update, and then I'll see if Brian, Jeff, Tim, or Adam have anything they have to add. I spoke with our mayor today, Mark Kaczynski, and he told me that tomorrow they will be having another meeting, and they've been able to bring the number down to someplace in the 700s. That's what they're anticipating. So big difference than when we met last time, where the bids were coming in around $1 million. So more info to come, but like we've been talking, he said they're still doing it, and very positive, very supportive. So I'm gonna turn it over to Brian and Jeff.
Sure, I spoke to the town manager last week, who reiterated what Julia said here, that they are committed to wrapping the ductwork, and that they were looking to bring the price down from the $900,000 bid. But he said to rest assured that they will be wrapping the ductwork at Berlin High School. So I think it's important to note that we have the mayor and the town manager both telling us that the ductwork is going to be wrapped.
Just one comment, I do understand from Doug Solik, who's the facilities director for the town, that the plan is to have it on the agenda, the contract on the agenda to the town council on the 18th of this month.
So with that being said, we are not meeting until, our next meeting isn't until June, and we're not meeting prior to the 18th. So if that contract is on the agenda, the recommendation tonight is to move to close out the project. We had a meeting prior to this meeting with the F&O committee, and that's what we discussed. Prior to walking in tonight, I wasn't sure if we were moving to close it out or we were gonna hold off, but you know, I think all of our conversations have been very positive. We know that it's going to get done. We've been told that. I think, Brian, do you have anything you want to add before we move to the motion?
No, I think it's been a long time coming. I mean, those, we've discussed about the wrapping, the recommendation, the importance of it. We've had reports, pictures, all of you have seen the pictures, and that we think it's necessary, and I think that the town council agrees it's necessary and that it should be moving forward, and hopefully we'll have years of good air quality based on, you know, sealed ductwork. So I think we're at a good juncture at this point.
Okay, so before we get into discussion, I'm gonna throw it out to you guys. Is there a motion?
I'll move to close the Berlin High School renovation project as complete and authorize the filing of the final electronic submission with the state.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So motion by Adam, second by Tim. Now we'll open it up for discussion.
Julia?
Yes.
These discussions with regard to closing out the school, I mean, it obviously began a few years ago. I know there was a big push to close out the school project back in 2019. The purpose of doing that is there is still money left on the table at the state, and in order to recoup those funds, the project needed to be accepted by the Board of Ed, paperwork submitted, and then we would be eligible to receive those funds after a final closeout by the state. We were working toward that closeout back in 2019, understanding that there was some question around the ductwork. There was a subcommittee that was put together to take a look at it. We actually hired a third party to review, and the mindset had always been that, you know, once a contract was submitted or a PO was cut for the work, that we'd be fine closing out the project, because I think that was the only thing that was left. But based on all the good faith efforts that have been accomplished at this time between the town manager, the mayor, and the Public Building Commission, I think that the sooner the better at this point. I think we all understand that there's that something is going to be done, and a project is going to commence on unwrapping that ductwork. So my personal opinion, I'm completely comfortable closing out the project at this time.
Thank you, Adam.
Is there any projected date for the closeout? Do we know?
We're gonna sign off and close it out tonight, but the projected date for the wrapping to be
Right.
done, I'm not sure. Brian, do you have an answer?
No, I think there has to be approval first, and then they'll set a timeline. So
Okay.
I mean, the hope that it would happen over the summer into the fall, because the ductwork is all exterior, it's on the roof, it's not.
Yeah, you showed that to me when we had
Right,
the
so I think
building
that
tour.
there's, you know, an opportunity, if it could get done in the summer, fantastic.
Okay,
But even if we had to go into the fall, it's outside of the building, the work could get done.
all right, thank you.
I'm in agreement with Adam. Like we've said for years, really the last thing to figure out here was this ductwork, and I think we're there now, so it's good that we can cross this one off the list.
Thank you. Yeah, and you know, I know that when the budget was planned, we're anticipating the funds that are coming back to offset our taxes next year, and that's what we're going by. Did you have something you wanted to say? Was someone saying something? No?
I just was gonna ask if, I understand, it sounds like everybody's talked to the mayor and town manager and they're comfortable with that. If there should be a contingent motion on the PO or the contract being issued. This is something that you guys have more familiarity with, but once we close it out, I assume they're gonna file. So traditionally, it'd be a contingent motion on a PO or contract being issued, and once that was done, they could file and recoup.
So we did discuss that, Brian and I, prior to the last meeting. But I'll speak a little bit and then I'll see, you know, what Adam and Jeff wants to say. You know, town council made a motion and they voted to move this forward. So we have that on record. The mayor and the town manager have said to
me many times, Brian many times, many people in many meetings on the record. So I don't anticipate us closing it out and then them saying, we're not doing this, it's $1 million. They have the money to do it. They anticipated, you know, for a certain amount, it came in more, we're back down. And then if that were to happen, that's not, I guess it's on us at the extent of we closed it out, but it's really, it would be on the town council, and I can confidently say I do not believe that they would do that based on the conversations I have had. So I don't, Adam?
Yeah, and I'm certainly familiar with the contingency on motions and closeouts and everything else. And I would say I would be in favor of that if it was a third party not affiliated with the town of Berlin, but we're talking about an agreement between a Board of Ed for the town of Berlin and the town itself. So, you know, because we're essentially under one roof, I feel comfortable with it as is.
Jeff?
Understand that what you're doing is you're accepting the project, okay, as the Board of Ed, okay? The actual closeout of the project is a financial closeout, which takes a long time to go. So there's a lot more things to happen in this project. It's just that it can't start until we accept the building and the project.
Thank you for that. Brian?
Like I said, Steve, I was in the same position I asked about a contingent motion. That was my thought too. You know, your motion, the board's motion is contingent upon their motion. Do that. But after talking to the town manager and speaking with Julia, who spoke to the mayor, and the mayor's told me directly several times, if people felt it wasn't necessary, they're gonna follow through, being on record. But I was concerned about that too, that, you know, if they waited to move, it wouldn't happen until they acted where our action would come after. But, I think it's been discussed, and I don't know where everyone on the board feels about it. If they're comfortable with the mayor and the town manager having that communication with us and feel confident that they will move forward. I mean, there's been much discussion, even beyond that, with members of the PBC and so on, so.
Thank you. Right, and also, you know, if you're not comfortable voting in favor tonight, and this goes to the board, you certainly do not have to vote in favor. We haven't been having secret meetings. I haven't actually discussed this with anyone on the board other than the F&O committee, so everyone can stand on their own and vote how they want. I am really excited to have this motion on our agenda and finally close out, authorize the filing of the final electronic submission with the state. It's a pretty exciting agenda item, in my opinion, because as long as I've been on the board, we've been talking about this. So, any other discussion? All right, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 8-0. Nice job. Okay, so moving on to item D. So I am going to turn this over to either Mr. Cugno or
I can speak to
or
it.
Brian will start.
So in the last few years, we've had some items that we looked to put into the non-lapsing account, which was a 1% account, which now is a 2% account, meaning that the maximum amount that can be put into the account is 2% of the entire budget. Typically, those items are things that we're looking to accomplish in the district that could not be accomplished by the end of the school year. So we look to put the monies into the non-lapsing account so that we can then complete those tasks, usually throughout the summer or throughout the following school year. So in this year, you can look at the agenda here, we're looking at the lighting upgrade in the McGee Library and Media Center. We have the McGee Media Center has totally been reconfigured. If you walked in, it's much different than the media center that was there 20 years ago, where we had, rows and rows of books and very little workspace and so on. Now there's, different areas of workspace, some with technology, different types of seating arrangements and so on. There's fewer bookshelves with actual books on them in rows. And the lighting we had is not the typical lighting like we have here. It's all lighting that's hanging from the ceiling and, in rectangles. It doesn't really adequately fit and light the area. So we'd like to redo the lighting in the McGee Media Center, which absolutely looks fantastic when you walk in. The sense, students have said to teachers, though. I wish I could have every class in here. It just has a great feel to it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick one board member out who actually toured the buildings with me. Mr. Persin, you asked me the question, we went through, he said, how come the lighting hasn't changed? You noticed it right away. So if you want to speak to it, do you mind saying a few?
No, not at all. When I toured McGee Middle School with Brian, the lighting was just, Media Center looked great, but the lighting was just substandard. And I think this is going to be a great improvement to the Media Center there at McGee, which is what they need to make it 100%. But I mean, the way it is now and the way it should be, it's like night and day.
So thank you. That was the question. So how come the lighting hasn't been fixed? I said, well, that's hopefully coming later. So thank you.
I hope it's in the budget.
Right, yeah, so thank you. I didn't mean to stick you out, but thank you.
That's no problem.
All right. The paving at Willard, and some of these items would have been in the capital, if there was capital, but the paving of Willard playground areas and sidewalks, the sidewalks at Willard have been patched numerous times. They're really not even safe in the front. The concrete is cracking. Yes, we're using board funds to complete this, but, the hope is that it's needed at this time. And my own belief on the playgrounds, the Willard playground area also is needed. Many of the playground blacktops that the students play on are cracked. The playground equipment is often, 30 years old. There needs to be updating. The funds for the capital to do that typically have not been there. So we'd like to accomplish that at Willard. We'd also, if we had the funds, to do the other elementary schools too, their playground areas. And I don't mean the playground, the items like, the actual playground equipment. It's actually the blacktop, the basketball, hoops, the things of that nature are really dated. Classroom storage at Hubbard this past year, because we couldn't afford it, we had hooks, and each Hubbard student had a duffel bag that they stored their things in, so that they were kept separate during COVID. But there needs to be storage cubbies for the students when they come into the elementary classrooms. So we're looking to have those built. Those would be done by a cabinet maker. Removal of retaining walls and paving of the McGee entrance. You'll see at McGee there's block-type walls that often get moved. There's bees' nest in it, and the principal there really feels that he'd like to have it paved where there's not an issue with, oftentimes, because it's not set in mortar, the bricks are moved, or students are skateboarding on it and so on. So like to remove those and have that entrance paved. And the balance of additional rooftop unit at McGee, we have a rooftop unit that the town is working on. The town does not have any more funds to complete the job and to fix that unit, and they're asking us if we had some funds to help them out. We often try to do that. I'm thinking back to the telephone system when it broke. It typically was something in the budget under capital, but it wasn't until the following year. We had the funds, we bought the new system at that time. So, there are things that are needed, there are things that may have been in the capital equipment, but there are things that we have the funds at the end of the year that we think, warrant this 2% account, and we hope that it can find support for this. So, I don't know if there's any questions. I don't know, Jeff, if you want to add to that?
Just to support everything you said, Brian, naturally, and understand that some of you may remember, most of these, actually all of these projects have been on our list for a while. We put them on the capital list, and we try to get them in through our own operating funding. We try to put them for the capital plan, little by little. So these aren't new projects. Obviously, the lighting at the library or media center is just the last component of the media center. Daniel Salina, who's the director of the media center, has done, very frankly, a very great job pushing to make sure that that facility gets the way it is, and this is the last piece. So that one has been on the books for a long time. This just happens to be the last piece. So we've been planning for these for a while. We've got, which I'm sure Ashley can speak to, is this year, because of COVID, one of the positive things from COVID, from a budget standpoint, is we haven't been doing as many things as we usually do and set a budget for. So this money here is directly related to COVID savings. So it's a great opportunity for us to do this. As Brian said, it's a great opportunity to use the 2% fund, because we can't do these by June 30th. Normally you have to spend operating money by June 30th. So that's why they have this statute on the books. And so I think we're doing, or at least the board is doing, exactly what it should be in this situation. So they're good projects, and they're ones that are very, very needed. You talk to the principals, I mean, it's like they're going to run parades for everybody. So it's a good job.
Thank you. So before we get into discussion, I'm gonna kick it over to Tim or Adam for the motion.
All right, I will move that the Board of Finance deposit $400,000 from account 001-35-0-51000-00000. We doing an AR rewrite at any point? Board of Education Program 60 into account 500-35-0-54000-01733 unexpended education funds for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021.
Second.
So the motion by Tim, the second by Adam, and we'll open it up for discussion.
Just to make sure, Ashley, those are the right accounts. Okay. See, a lot of zeros.
No discussion.
Just one thing, I just think it's important to note that it's a 2% account, obviously, we're not at 2%. And if we had additional funds, there's many things that are on the capital improvement list that we'd like to do, that we just don't have the funding for right now. If we had that list in front of you, you would see things, you know, on that list that would be relevant and timely if we could get them accomplished. But with 400,000, we think these are the priorities.
Thank you. Anything else? Great. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the vote is 8-0. Okay, we're at the last agenda item this evening.
Before we do that, can we just say how wonderful it is to have our superintendent, Brian Benigni, actually sitting with us here this evening. We're not sure if he'll be able to get up after sitting for so long, but just so nice to see you back here with all of us, and lots of thoughts and prayers and well wishes from everyone in this room as well as outside in the community during your recovery. So congratulations for being back here.
Thank you, everybody.
Welcome back. Yep.
If I could just make a statement to all of you in the community, and I don't want to show tears, but just so everyone knows, I think it's important. I know a lot wasn't said. I was in a motorcycle accident. A deer hit me, or I hit the deer, but the deer actually, as I was driving, came at me like a T. I hadn't had a motorcycle since I was 20, and I don't know if it's a midlife crisis, but I do have the text where my wife said to buy it. I'll never ride a motorcycle again. But all kidding aside, working in this district for 28 years as a teacher, a coach, a principal, assistant principal, and superintendent, I have a lot of pride for Berlin, but I couldn't be prouder to work here. The number of cards, I probably have over 3 feet of cards at home from people in this community, and people I didn't even realize I touched over the years. And it's really special when you see people reach out to you in that way. And you know, the tears of pain were tears of people caring that I didn't even know about. So I just want to personally thank the community for everything, and all of you that had me in your prayers. I feel very blessed to be alive. I don't think I was ready to go for some reason, but I do have 11 broken ribs and a broken scapula, you know, you may not notice I'm sitting here, and I thank you all for everything. I really do, and I thank the community. The community has been just amazing. You know, my wife said to me jokingly, she said, I never thought this many people even cared about you. I said, so, but you know, a real credit to being here in Berlin. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. We are certainly happy to have you back, and we are happy that you are recovering and sitting here this evening. So thank you. Thank you for that, Adam. Thanks for kicking that off. All right, last item on the agenda, if there is nothing else.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right.